I am Tinne from Victoria Designs, and if you like autumn, plus if you like cute little beasties, you will like our Autumn Forest Residence Kit. Autumn colors and cuteness, what more do you want? And I created a tutorial with these printables to make a writing folder. This very sturdy folder holds thin journals, a notepad and more. All my measurements and guidelines will pop up on the screen, but if you would like a handy PDF with all the measurements plus how to adjust these measurements to the size of your printed journal pages, you can opt in via the link in the description of this video to get that PDF. And I also added the template to create the special edges. But no worries, if these special edges are too much thinking and measuring for you, you can just skip those. Of course, if you don't like autumn and if you don't like cute little creatures, it's possible. You can use totally different printables and papers to make this project. Just as you can use the printables from this kit to make many other crafts. So if you would like to make this project or any other project with the printables of our Autumn Forest Residence Kit, you can discover it in my Etsy shop, the link is below. And now let's start crafting. Enjoy! So we're gonna make this a chunky writing journal. Okay, so this is what it looks like on the back, this on the front, and it opens like this, and like this. There's a side pocket here. And in the center, there are two big pockets that are like 1/4 inch wide each. And one holds a notepad. Yeah, they open with a elastic here. One holds a notepad. And has another pocket here. And one, it's upside down, but it works because there's an elastic here. One holds 2 journal pages. Journals, I mean, not journal pages. Yes, mine are quite thick. You can play with the amount of papers for the journal that you have and on which weight of paper that you print and whether or not you're adding other pages like tea stained paper, coffee stained paper, etc., etc. They fit. They fit and it still closes, so I'm very happy. So yeah, 2 booklets, a notepad and some pockets and a very nice cover. Now for the measurements. My journal pages are 10 1/4 by 8 when printed out and cut. I print mine on A4 paper. It really depends on your settings, how large or how small they're gonna come out of your printer. But if it's a bit larger or a bit smaller, no worries. I added some formulas that if your journal pages end up larger or a bit smaller than mine, that you can adjust all the other measurements. These formulas will be shown on the screen and they're also on the PDF that you're gonna get if you opt in via the link. Now, if you want to make it easy on yourself, try to print out your journal pages so that they are also 10 1/4 by 8 inch when you cut them out. You can play with your print percentages to achieve that. That would probably be a little bit easier. Now, you see these beautiful edges here on the pockets and on this flap here. With the measurements also comes a template to achieve that. Now, watch the tutorial first because it might be that you think, oh my God, what an extra work. I don't feel like doing that. Just skip that. Don't give yourself a headache of thinking how you should do that. I explain it, of course, but this is a step that can easily be skipped and just you will have some straight edges here everywhere instead of these curved ones. You can also use beautiful edges from your die cutting machine if you have one, but if you don't have that, this is a handy other solution to still achieve that look. Now, before I start showing you step by step how to make this whole writing folder, for the panels, just go through your stack of papers that you're using to embellish this folder. And you can just measure like, oh, I need a piece that's 4 3/4 by 8 3/4. So I just measure and see, oh, that would be a beautiful piece because then you can see the bear there, etc., etc. So just check out which pieces that you would like best to use for each piece. Don't cut squirrels in half, etc., etc. Just really see, oh, this would fit nicely here, this would fit nicely here. It takes a bit of time to find that, but you can choose for yourself which would look the best, and I highly encourage that. It's also handy to have a see-through ruler to really see like, okay, I'm gonna cut this piece from that paper, etc., etc. What you can also do, I didn't do that here at all, but what you can do is print a paper smaller if you want more details on a paper, etc. There are so many options here. Okay, so I've talked a lot. Now let's craft. Let me quickly show you what I've printed from this kit for this tutorial. Now I printed everything on 160 grams paper, that's about 60-pound cover. Now with the journal pages, I'm going to make small easy journals with them and a notepad. And if you want more pages, you can print them on lighter paper. I printed these journal pages on 160 grams paper too, because I hardly have any regular paper left. So I'm using the thicker paper, but if you want more sheets in your journal and more sheets in your notepad, just print them on lighter paper and still use up the same amount of space. So yes, these are the ones that I printed for the notepad, and these are exactly the same, but I cut them in two. So let me quickly show you some of the sheets. I printed them double-sided, but you can also print a very neutral paper on the back if you want. You see, some pages are more filled and some have a lot of room to write but are still very, very pretty. See, there's a lot of space to do your journaling, but it's still super pretty. And here and there we have a fuller journal page just to fill your journal a little bit more. So these are some of the journal pages, and then I have here some of the full papers that I'm gonna use. There are some horizontal ones in there as well. These are just a few, not all of them. And then I also printed some of the embellishments here, just to show you how pretty they are. Some library cards, some file folders. There's also one with a tab here and a tab here. And look at that cute fox! So these are just a few of the printables that are in this kit. And now let me show you how to make this project. Okay, let's start making this whole folder. I have here a bunch of pieces cut from 300 grams paper. The sturdier you can find, the better. I already cut them to size, but the sizes will pop up on the screen. And as you know, you can download the PDF if you want them handy in a row as well, with some formulas to adjust the measurements if you print much larger or smaller than me. And here I already cut out and partially inked a lot of panels already. Again, the measurements will pop up on the screen, and I will explain what this is when I come to that. Okay, let's start with the base, and for that we need 4 base pieces. So these are my 4 base pieces, and I will show one by one how to score them and prepare them before we attach them together. I will take my scoreboard. Again, if you don't have one, just take a ruler, a mat underneath, and an empty pen or the back of a butter knife. This is just a bit easier. So the first one, I will score at 1/2 and 1 1/4, like this. I'm going to fold them. And since the last 1/2 inch is going to be the tab to attach them to each other, I'm going to miter the corners a little bit, just cut off a little bit of the corner. Make sure you don't go further than that folding line. And do that on the other side as well. And I'm already going to put some double-sided tape right next to that fold on that tab. You can use glue, but then do it right before you start gluing, of course. This. Use a bone folder if you really want to make your folds really crisp. So this is part 1 prepared. Let's go to part 2. So this is base part 2. And actually, it doesn't need any more preparation than just cut it out. So that's easy. So part 3, I'm also going to score at 1/2 inch, but then at 7/8 of an inch. So here we'll get a 3/8 of an inch spine here. Again, I'm gonna fold these. And again, I'm going to miter these corners because this is a tab again. And add some double-sided tape right next to that fold. So this one's prepared as well. And then part 4 is actually going to be the flap. And I'm going to score that one at 1/2 inch and 1¼ inch, like this. Again, I'm gonna fold these. Miter the corners. Add some tape to the tab. But I'm going to add something else here. Now, you can keep this flap simple, round the corners, use some sort of fancy die cut if you want. But I provided this little pattern here with the measurements. If you can't find it, just scroll down. The PDF has multiple pages. Print it on sturdy paper. This is just the 160 grams paper that I usually use, or about 60-pound cover. And then I cut it out very carefully with all the details. And then I took this type of paper and glued it on top, just a scrap piece. And then I carefully cut it out again. And now I have this very sturdy template here. I also put some putty on the back. Yes, that's ink. So when I lay it somewhere flat, it will stay in place. And I also drew a line in the center here. It might be that I already put it on the printable, but it's very handy to have here, so I'm probably going to add it. And yeah, then you have this template. Now for this 4th base piece, the flap piece, I'm already going to use it a little bit different than it was intended. Normally, for pockets, etc., I would just place this, line up the top 2 parts with the edge of the paper, trace it, cut it out. And you can do that. But for this flap piece, I want this piece to stick out, so I'm going to turn it around. Yes, I'm already going to use it in a different way. I'm going to take a pencil, something that you can erase, and find the center here. So I'm gonna draw a line here very lightly. And I'm going to slide this down and try to keep it in the center so that the top of these waves will be a little bit lower than this edge. Yeah, here. And now I can stick this down thanks to the putty. Now, as you see, there are these little corners here, and they're very beautiful for a pocket, etc. But for the flap, I'm not going to use it. So I'm going to trace from this point here to this point right here, like this, just the wave, and also, yeah, that little horizontal piece here, like this. So I didn't go in there. And now I'm going to remove it. See, this is what it looks like. See, this is what it looks like. And now I'm going to elongate that little piece to the side. So here and here. So like this, you see? So I just elongated this little piece further and I didn't go in. If your head's already turning like, oh my God, what's she doing? Skip this part. Really, it's just a decorative edge, that's all. Now I'm going to cut that shape out. So you can definitely just cut it in a different way, or with decorative die cuts, or trace another shape instead of this one. There. And I'm also going to round these corners. There. And now the flap will look like this. So now we have our 4 pieces. I'm going to attach these 4 together. Okay, let's start with piece 1 and 2. Let's put these aside for a bit. Yeah, I put a little 1 in the center of my pieces where I knew it would be covered later. If you didn't do that, just check first again with your ruler which one is which, just to be sure. Okay, I removed this tape. If you're using glue, now is the time to attach it. Okay, and now I'm gonna lay it like this, sticky side up, and I'm going to line part 2 up right next to that fold, as straight as you can. Add some glue stick on top if you're not sure that it will be straight right away, because double-sided tape usually sticks immediately, and if it's down, and you really want this to be straight. Okay, so we added part 1 to part 2, and now I'm going to attach part 3 on the other side of part 2. So I'm gonna remove the tape again. If you're using only glue, you have a little bit more wiggle room to get things right until it's ready. So now I'm gonna take the other side of the 2 part, so not the 1 part, but the 2 part, and I put part 3 right here, and I'm gonna flip it over so the tab is on the bottom, and glue this in place as well. So now we have this part 3, 2, 1, and part 4, our flap, I'm going to attach on the other side of 1. Again, remove the backing, put sticky side up, and then I am very sure that this is the part 1 with the wide spine here. I'm gonna turn it over so all the tabs will be on the inside and not on the outside. Line this up right next to the fold again. This, and we're ready. So we have now part 4, 1, 2, 3, and it closes like this. There. And now I'm already going to attach the closure. In my case, I'm going to add some ribbon. Of course, you can choose to have another closure, by all means. So I'm going to find the center here on the flap, on the outside of the flap here. And when I close this whole thing, I want some ribbon to be here. So I'm gonna put it upside down. So here is the flap. And I want to attach some ribbon here and here. So I am going to find the center again, here, also here on this little spine, because I want to attach it here as well. There. I'm going to put some double-sided tape in place, and I'm gonna make sure I will keep about 1/8 of an inch or a little bit more from the edge, because that won't be covered. So here, just a tiny little bit there, and also on the flap here. Just a few inches, just so that's it. It's secure, you know. I have here a few ribbons, and they're both 14 inches long. And I'm just going to attach them right here. So on the flap, let me start on the flap. Okay, and I'm just going to glue this on like this. And here as well. Remove these two bits. And this one will go that way. So I'm going to glue it flat. Okay, and now when I close it, close, 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 this can be tied together. You see, it might be that I'm going to let this come out of the panel later, but yeah, I will check that later. And now I'm already going to add some panels. Don't start just adding the panels, because some need to go first, some need to go next, etc. This one will come right here. So this is the part with the flap, so it comes right here. This part won't be visible because a pocket will come on top here, but and that's why I already inked these 3 sides here. I'm using this ink, the one I usually use. So these are inked, and now I can just glue this in and leave 1/8 of an inch 3mm on the sides. I'm going to use glue sticks, so it's fast for the tutorial, but you can use other glues instead, of course. Or tape rollers. Those are fast too. Okay, so this one right here. Okay, one down. I'm also already going to put a panel right here. And that's going to be this one. And again, very simple. Glue, paste. This again, make sure it's in the center. There, easy, right? Oh yeah, before I'm going to attach the next ones, I'm already going to ink the whole edge here inside and out, so all the way around. I'd like to do that when they're the base pieces are attached to each other, so I don't accidentally add some inky lines where I don't want them. Okay, there, I inked the edge of this whole piece inside and out, and now I'm going to add some panels to the flap. But of course, you know, we've been cutting stuff off this flap, so I now also need to use this template to cut these. Let's see, I'm going to put this one here, so I have to cut it from this side. Yeah, I usually make a mark here as well, or an arrow that you know from which side. I'm going to find the center again. Here with all my scribbles. And again, I am going to line up the centers here. So again, I'm going to go down and make sure this edge is a little bit under these waves. So I'm gonna make my wave again, and these 2 horizontal pieces. Remove this part. can elongate those ends here. Like this. So this one will come here, and then the other one needs to come on this side. So I need to cut off pieces on this side. Wave, wave, wave. Little horizontal pieces. Remove, draw line. Just make sure you're straight and not wonky. And now I can easily cut these out. Again, if this is way too much fuss for you, just skip this part. Okay, let's check this out. Yep, that looks good. And I also have to, of course, cut these corners. Okay, and I'm going to ink the edges because I haven't done that with this one yet, because I really wanted to show you how to cut the edge. There, and when it's ready, I can just glue it in like I did with the other panels. And I'm gonna do exactly the same with the one that goes to the outside. I'm gonna cut this out and glue it in. And then you can just glue it on top of the ribbon. For these panels, of course, you can choose the parts of the papers that you think are going to be the most beautiful, you know. There. And now I'm going to show you how to make the side pockets. And for that, I have this piece. It has the same height. It's gonna come on top here, but I'm gonna use my pattern again to cut out a bit from the center. But now I am actually going to use this whole cutout. So again, I'm going to put this aside for a bit, the center here. And now I am going to place this pattern this way, and I'm gonna line up the top edge here with these two pieces. I'm gonna elongate my mark here. Align, align, there. And now I can just trace this whole thing. Get it off. You see, it looks like this now. And now I can just carefully cut this out. Yes, I know, these little parts are so small, but yeah, they give a little bit je ne sais quoi, you know? Oh yeah, I cut in like this, and then I'm first going to cut a little bit further and cut out that wavy thing, and at the end I will cut these side pieces. So a bit further, I'm gonna cut out this whole wavy thing. Because with this thick cardstock and then cutting out such small pieces, so I'm just gonna go like this. And now I can easily reach in there and cut out that little corner piece. Like this, here as well. Now I can reach. And now my pocket looks like this. I'm gonna give all the edges a quick ink. And now this will come right here. But before I'm going to glue this in, I'm already going to attach the panel. And of course, you can guess it, we need to cut out that piece as well. So again, if you're like, no, not for me, just leave it straight or just cut an oval shape or something easier. I already made the mark here. Now I'm going to line this up with the top edge again, but we need an extra step here to make sure it fits, and I'm going to show you. So I'm gonna trace this again. This. To make this fit on here, I will need to cut out an extra 1/8 of an inch here. So I'm just doing it with my eye, just like this. Because if I don't, it will come up here and not a bit further. You see, the panel is a little bit wider, so mathematically I have to just add here an extra square 1/8 of an inch. I'm gonna cut that out with the extra. I'm gonna cut just everything out. Again, first the first snips and then the whole wavy shape. And now I can reach in there to cut out that last bit. Yeah, the corners are always the most tricky ones. You don't want to pull it out, you know. There, but you don't want to cut too far either. There. So, and now, as I can show you, this will fit. To show you better, I'm first going to ink the edges. So now you can see very well that I really needed to cut out these extra 1/8 of an inch squares there. Okay, and now I can just glue this in. Make sure this is centered, especially with that weird shape here. Okay, and now I'm gonna turn it around and I'm gonna take some 1/8 of an inch tape. What am I saying? No, 1/4 of an inch tape here. So I have a nice and deep pocket. Or you add a bead of glue at the edge with a fine tip. Like this. But take strong glue for this, something that really would stick this thick paper. Okay, and now I'm just going to line it up with the edges on the side here. Really up to the edges, like this. And now we have a beautiful pocket. There. And now I am going to put some panels, one here and one here. Because here will come a pocket and here will come a pocket. And these parts will stick out. Okay, I have one piece here and I inked it on the side and the bottom because it will come right here on the bottom nicely in the center. Yeah, for these panels, just choose the beautiful parts that you think would fit. This one here, and then this one is the same size, and I will put it on top here. And I inked it on the sides and the top. Okay, like this. And now I'm going to show you how to make these two pockets, because one will come upside down and the one will be just straight. For these pockets, we need these two pieces. They're the same size, and I will each score them at 1/2 and 3/4 on the sides and the bottom. Like that. I'm gonna show the second one later because it's the exact same process. And before I'm going to fold it, I'm gonna cut it in like this. So I'm gonna cut from here to that top fold. You see? So from here to there. I'm gonna cut it out here as well. So this whole square, don't tear, Tinne, don't tear. Just cut. Yeah, this whole square has been cut out. We don't need it. Gonna do the exact same thing on the other side. So this whole, whoops! Oh, luckily this is a tab. My scissors go wild. Okay, I'm gonna cut out this whole piece here. And now to end, I am also going to miter these, the corners of the side flaps, only the ones from the side flaps. Tabs, I mean, side tabs. So, like this. And now I'm going to fold all the folds. Like this. And eventually this will come like this and form a pocket to hold a booklet or a notepad in. Okay, I'm gonna straighten these out because I want this on the top as well. So I'm going to line this up in the center, the top parts here on the inside, of course, and trace. Again, optional. Like this. And now I can just cut it out again. I'm gonna start with that wavy thingy and bother with the little corner thingies later. And then at the end, I'm gonna cut out these little corners. Like this. I'm gonna ink that edge. And the sides that you will see as well. Like this. But of course, we want a panel on that as well. This is going to be the upside down one, which means I will also need to cut out a piece here. Same way. So yeah, oh, I already traced it. Yeah, I already traced it later. What I didn't do is add the extra 1/8 of an inch squares here. Like this. See? So again, I just lined it up with the top. First, always give it a dry fit to make sure you didn't make any mistakes. I didn't, great. There, beautiful pocket. And I'm now also going to put some tape on these 3 tabs. Again, right next to the fold. Just not on the fold, otherwise your whole project is going to get sticky. So don't put tape on the sides, just on the tabs, of course. This. And I'm going to prepare the other pocket same way, but like this, because it's going to be a not upside down pocket. Now the panel that I have for this pocket is shorter because I'm gonna add another pocket on top. If you don't want that, just make it the same size as this one. I'm going to glue this panel right at the top here. So I'm already going to put another piece on top here, a pocket. I'm gonna again give it this this edge the same way. And a panel on top the same way again. So just to be very clear, in the cardstock part, you don't add an extra 1/8 of an inch square to your drawing to cut out, but you do on the panels that go on top. I'm gonna put this panel on top here. So again, I already drew the pattern. Just add these little squares here. Like this. So again, if you don't need that extra pocket, just make this panel larger. I didn't put an extra pocket on the upside down pocket because, well, it's upside down, things would fall out. And I'm going to show you in a bit how here nothing will fall out. But first I'm going to put some double-sided tape, the narrow one, the 1/4 inch tape again, at the sides and the bottom. And now I'm going to line this up in the center on top here. There you go. And now before we're going to put them in, I am going to add a brad here to attach an elastic around. So first going to put them upside down. I'm going to find the center and like a 1/2 inch, 1.3 centimeter from that top of that wave here. So let me first find the center. Center is here, and then 1/2 inch from that top part here is right here. Okay. And then I'm gonna punch that mark. And I'm gonna use an 1/8 of an inch hole punch for that. This. You can, of course, also just use an awl for that and make a big hole. But I'm going to use rather large brads. These are the type of brads you can find in a stationery store, like with way too long legs. If you ever want them shorter, just have some metal cutters and just cut these off. I want some elastic to catch behind this head. That's why I'm using these big ones, so I have something that catches. So find a brad with a large head. You also have brads that are like twice this big, with really large heads that are perfect for this. Now, I'm just going to use this one. And what I'm gonna do, because I want some space here, if you've watched a lot of my tutorials, you have seen these before. It's just a piece of chipboard with the slot cut out that I use for circle closures. Well, I'm gonna use 2 now. Yes, I have them laying around everywhere. Going to lay them on top of each other so the end of the notch kind of meets here. Because I just want more thickness, that's why. I'm gonna put this through. And then put this through the hole here. And now I can safely open these legs. Yes, they're very long, but I'm just gonna open them to the side. And I have here a piece of regular tape here to cover these so that nothing catches. Okay, and now when I get these out, I will have a very nice gap here. And the thickness has been taken into consideration so that this closes. But of course, if your head is bigger and thicker, you might need another solution. So yeah, I'm going to attach one to this one as well. So to be clear, because we have one regular one and one upside down, the button, this brad will come on the wavy end here as well. You see? So this one, two pieces of chipboard here, through the hole. Open up, make really flat. Add a piece of tape. And then when I take these out, I have a nice little button where my elastic can easily catch upon. So now that these are in place, these two brads, yes, I need those two for later, I can start adding these in. So I'm gonna start with this one, and I'm going to start with the bottom tab. I'm gonna remove the tape from the bottom tab. If you're using glue, now is the time to attach the glue. Okay, and I'm going to make sure to line up this bottom fold with the bottom of this piece right here. And I'm going to eyeball it so that it's in the center, that there's like a 1/16 of an inch on each side left or something like that. Yeah, like this. And again, to make sure nothing catches here, I'm gonna add some tape on top. Like this. That's why I didn't close the sides yet. Normally I would first close the sides, but I need to make sure that nothing catches here. Okay, and now I'm going to remove these backings. If you're not sure if you're not gonna stick everything together, just do one by one. Okay, and now it's a bit tricky. Make sure that these corners are all straight. So start with one here. Like this, yeah. And then the other one. Just straight, 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 everything straight, perfect. And then use a ruler or something to really stick these down. Yeah, of course, if you want, you can also put these panels in later on top of these side flaps, but for me, they're not in the way. But you can do that, just stick it in so that the paper overlaps these tabs on the side. Okay, so this one is in. I'm gonna do exactly the same one with this, but I'm going to align this fold with the top. So again, remove that backing. I'm gonna actually turn it around, it's easier working for me. Keep it, hold it like this, and then line up with the edge, and then make sure it's in the center. And it's down. Tape on top. Like this. It's starting to take shape, right? Okay, and then one by one, make sure everything is straight when you put them in. All the folds are straight, the corners are straight, like this. And this one again, like this. See? Make sure these really stick. Okay, and now we need something to attach that elastic to so it can open and close. You can glue it here if you want, but I'm just going to use, oopsie. I'm just going to use these two extra brads to attach them here. And for that, I'm going to turn around, make sure it's the right side. Yeah, I have to have one here and one here, yeah. These little quick marks were just to make sure I'm not going to punch a hole in the wrong side, you know, that's why. Okay, and I'm going to, again, make a mark in the center and 1/2 inch from the edge. Here's the center, 1/2 inch. Same on the other side. Gonna punch these holes. That's why we haven't attached the panels here yet, because they need to cover these, you know. Okay. And now I'm going to cut some pieces of elastic, and how long they're gonna be depends on how elasticy your elastic is, you know. So I'm gonna make them about this side. I need a little bit more to tuck these away, so yeah, I think that's okay. So the ones I cut are about 7-inch, but yeah, you can always cut off a bit more if you think they're still too long. So what you do now is fold them in half, like this, and the two ends, stick them to this hole. Hold on the other side about 1/2 inch and see if this will fit. I'm gonna pull a little bit more because otherwise it's a bit too loose for me. Yeah. And now when it's in place, just take another brad, but this time just really push it through so that the elastic is really stuck. And now what I'm gonna do is, it's a bit fiddly, turn the ends around and then open the legs so everything is really stuck there, like this. So the purpose of this brad is to really hold it, so you can really push it and it will work like this. And then make sure this is very, 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 very tight. I'm gonna put some double-sided tape on top here because we still need to put something else on top this edge as well, like this. And I'm gonna do the exact same thing on the other side here. Take the ends, fold in half, take the ends through the hole. Check if the tension's good, that it's not too much. And then put through the other brad. That will really hold this in place. Turn around these ends if it's not too fiddly. And open the legs and really, really make it tight. And when you're sure, double-sided tape on top. Like this. And now that these are in place, I can finally put in the actual covers. So this is going to be my front cover and this is going to be my back cover. Now, normally I would just use some glue, but since this is a little bit thicker here with the elastic and the brads, etc., I am actually going to put some tape on that side as well. So here on the bottom, you can make a whole border with tape if you like, but I'm just gonna put some on the bottom here and here on the top. Just make sure it really, really sticks. So I'm gonna remove. This is going to be the front cover, by the way. Oh yeah, for the front cover, keep in mind that when you close it, it will work with the flap. See, I chose this piece because now you don't see the squirrel, but if you open it, ta-da, there's a squirrel. That's why I like it. Just make sure that you don't halfly cover something important. Keep those things in mind. The back design is easier, it's just a beautiful piece here. Remove that backing, remove the backing here. Some glue. Now make sure this isn't in the way. Actually, what I'm gonna do, I forgot about that, but I was planning on doing that. Yeah, okay, my thingy is completely glued now, but yeah, that wasn't very smart of me. So I would love in here, in the center, to have a little slot about 2 inches from the side here in the center. Yeah, oh, my ruler is going to be so sticky. Here's the center. My ribbon is about 3/8 of an inch, so I'm going to make like 1/2 inch at least slot there. If your ribbon's wider, make it wider, etc. Should have thought of that earlier. But hey, I'm just going to cut a little opening here. So I'm gonna make it like a little bit wider than just 1 hair. This. Get that out. I am also going to glue this. Let's see, I'm gonna give it a try. Yeah, I'm gonna have to make really sure this fits, that I don't push down. Okay, so I'm gonna make a mark up to where I have to, yeah, add some extra tape here. Up to here, yeah. Just to make that ribbon extra secure. So I'm gonna glue that down here. Okay, let's try this again. I'm going to add some more glue on top because that has dried out right now. Sorry about that. Okay. And now before I stick this down, I'm gonna get that ribbon through that little slot here. It will just tie better if we do it like this. Yes. And then glue this whole part in place. A bit higher. Still possible, yeah. Like this. Make sure on this bulky part it is down very well, because the elastic's under here, etc. If you find it hard to glue these edges down, if something bulky is under there, just move it a bit further from the edge. Instead of 1/2 inch from the edge like I did, make it 5/8 of an inch or 3/4 of an inch. That will make the whole process a bit easier. Okay, and now if I close this, see, it will be even easier to tie because the ribbon is here and not coming out here. Okay, and now I'm going to attach the back one. That's an easy one. Remove this tape as well. Glue. There, nicely on top. Don't squish too hard because our bulky pockets are under here. Make sure that this edge is down very well. Like this. Okay, so we're here. And now optionally, you can also glue some spines in here. I have cut these that I'm gonna put on top. You can glue some here as well. if you like. Add some glue. Yeah, I want these on the outside. Over the ribbon, nicely in the center. But this is optional. You can also use some just plain colored cardstock here, you know. Or write something on the side, a title of your notebook. Yeah, let's get into frame, sorry about that. This, okay. So, and now, as you see, you can put something in here, something in here, and these two will normally not interfere. I mean, they're like 1/2 inch apart, and there's room enough to put something in there. It's all calculated. Now, what to put in here and what to put in there. Now, for here, I have a little notepad. Well, I don't have it yet. I'm gonna make it right now. So these are just journal pages that I printed on one side only, and I cut them in half. And I made sure that they really all have the same size. So I have a nice stack here. Yes, I printed them on 160 grams paper because that's just what I have. I hardly have any normal paper left, I realized. But you can definitely print these on thinner paper and have more sheets this way. Now I chose most of them to be like more emptier journal pages like this one, so that there's a lot of room to write. So most of them have only little but beautiful pictures. And then for the front, I have one that has a design all over. So my stack is about 1/4 inch wide. And now to turn these into a notepad, I have here another piece of very sturdy cardstock, and it is the width of my journal pages. In my case, it is 5 1/8. Yep. And then the height of these journal pages plus 3/4 inch. And I'm going to score 1/2 inch and 3/4 inch. This will be the back of the notepad. You can also make this 1/2 inch instead of so long if you don't have much cardstock left. But I wanted it to get a bit of a sturdy back. Okay, I am going to fold these. And as I said, my stack is about 1/4 inch wide, so it will nicely fit in here. And now I'm going to make a mark 1 inch from the side and in the center, height-wise. And here as well. I'm going to cut the holes. And now, I also want some holes here in the back, but to make sure they're in the same spot, I'm going to fold this over and hold it straight. So, like this, I'm holding it straight. Yeah. And I can make the holes on the back. And this way, I'm sure they will line up perfectly, these holes. Okay. And now I want holes in the tops here at the same place. You can also make a tear-off pad with some PVA glue on the top. Now I'm going to take one of these sheets, make sure the top is on the top, and make sure it's nesting in that first fold and in the center. Make sure it doesn't move, and draw the holes again. I'm not going to draw the circles on all of them, but I'm gonna take a stack here. You can do that, of course. And my crocodile, luckily, can manage a lot of sheets at the same time. So I'm gonna do them in little batches. This. And now I can just use one of these to draw circles on the next batch. Definitely make sure the top is aligned. There. And I'm gonna do one final batch. Align. Draw the marks. Yeah, my crocodile and these both have 1/8 of an inch holes, 3 millimeter. And I could do a few at the same time with this one, but not as many as here. Okay, so now I'm going to put them on top of each other. So now that these all have holes in the top, I put the first one on the front. And now I'm gonna take a piece of twine here. About 10 inches is probably more than enough. I'm gonna use a needle just because it's easier. There. And now I'm gonna go through the little one in the front. Through the whole stack here. Through the back one. Through the back one. Back through the whole stack. Yep. And back to the front one, like this. Just make sure you don't lose the end, so otherwise you have to start anew. Okay, so, and now I'm gonna make a knot, a tight knot. This, and I can make a little bow with the leftovers. Maybe I should have used more than 10 inches. No, it's gonna work. It's gonna work. Okay, this, and now this notepad that is about 1/4 inch wide, or a little bit less, so make sure it still fits in here. Fits nicely under this elastic in here. And of course, if you want to make two, you can put one in here as well, and thanks to this closure elastic it won't fall out. But I'm gonna put a little journal in here, and this one can just fit right in here. Oh yeah, this one has 20 sheets because they're so thick, but if you want more, just print on thinner paper. And here I have 14 journal pages, but printed on 2 sides. I usually print one side at 100%, flip the whole stack with my hands over in the printer and print at 102% on the other side. And then even if your printer shifts a bit, and usually they do, you can cut them out on the 100% side, and you won't have any white edges. So I have here 14 sheets print on 160 grams paper because that's what I have. I think I'm gonna make 2 piles, and I'm going to use these 2 as my cover because this can be the front cover of each. And then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 each, a 7th on top there. And I'm gonna make 2 booklets. I can make 1, but I think it's gonna be a bit too thick to fit in here, and maybe 2 I can fit in there anyway. Okay, so simple. I'm going to fold them in half. This stack as well. Okay, I should have printed these on lighter paper because a stack of 7 is already quite thick when you're using 160 grams paper. So it's gonna fit in here, but I don't think another one will fit on top. Maybe. Yeah. but I'm pushing it. So, and to bind these, I can use a 3-hole pamphlet stitch, as I've explained in many of the videos, or my staple method, which I have done excessively as well. Well, let me do that. Let me use the staple method. It's a very easy method to quickly bind your books. So let me show you. Oh yeah, if you're using thinner paper, I suggest for the cover to use a paper that's printed on 160 grams paper, or even sturdier paper, or use colored cardstock for that, or something that's sturdier. So I have here a bunch of staples, and I'm gonna need 4, 1 for each booklet, 2 for each booklet, I mean. 3 and 4. Yeah, I've done this a lot of times, so if you already know how I'm going to do it, just feel free to skip this part. Okay, so now I am going to have these in a stack. I see where my fold is, using my ruler, and I am going to put my first staple 1.5 inch from the edge. And then I think my staples are 1/2 inch. They are, so you can use your staple as a template, but I'm just going to use my ruler because it's 1/2 inch. There, oops, these are very thick holes. Okay, and now here as well, from this edge, 1.5 inch, 1/2 inch further. You choose how far or not far you put them, of course, and then you can just put your staples in. It's very easy if you have this mat underneath to make your holes in. There, turn around. There they go. Okay, I'm gonna fish that one up later, and then you can just close the legs of the staples. Yeah, that one fell out of there. This. There. What you need to do though now is to train your pages a little bit so they fold open nicely. To both sides. Yeah, it's working pretty good. And you can do the same thing with the other booklets. And it fits in here like this. And this way it won't fall out. This other booklet will also just fit in here. Yes, it does. It does, but they're quite thick. They're quite thick. So, and now I have here 2 booklets that fit in here, a notepad that fits in here, another pocket here, another pocket on the side, and my writing folder closes like this. I love this one so much, and it's really, really sturdy and it looks so good. Wouldn't this make an amazing gift? Oh my gosh, I would be thrilled to receive something like this. Okay, I hope you really love this tutorial. I really love it. I always put a lot of thought in how I make these and if everything works when you create something. So I hope you like it. Again, if you would like a PDF with all the measurements that I used and how you can adjust the measurements to your journal pages, how they come out of your printer, just opt in via the link in the description and they will be sent to you. If you have friends that would really like to make this chunky piece as well, just share the video with them. And for the rest, I wish you a very wonderful creative day. Bye bye.